Welcome to this special series of Inspired By. Join me as I meet local identities.
I think the other one that hugely affected me was playing Helen Reddy in I'm Woman.
That's changing people's lives is an honour.
Including young people who have taken that leap and who are now following their dreams. How was it meeting Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple? Did that trigger some of that stand-up comedy?
You've investigated.
So then I had to somehow not completely freak out about the fact that the movie was going to fall over.
Oh, wow.
Maurice Sendak, Roald Dahl?
Oh, that is amazing.
That point in time, you have to go for it and give it 100%.
I sincerely hope that this helps you in getting you underway in following your dreams. Flavia Tata Nardini, thank you very much for taking the time to talk with me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are the CEO and co-founder of Fleet Space Technologies and a rocket scientist, space entrepreneur based right here in South Australia.
That's right.
When you're a space entrepreneur, I remember you saying that when you came to Australia, you couldn't find any jobs for space, and that didn't really work out very well. And when Australia announced a space agency, that would have really given you a lot of hope.
Yeah, absolutely. When I came here, I love space. I wanted to work in space, and I was pretty sure I could find a job straight away, but it wasn't that easy.
What involvement did you have in that revolution of creating that space agency?
So what happened is that when I came here, the first couple of years I had my beautiful daughter Katerina. I was taking care of her. And then I really wanted to go back and work in space. There were not many space companies in Australia. There was few, and there was no space agency. And I thought, oh, that's bizarre, because a lot of countries has got a space agency. Then I decided to start my own business, and I started one, and then I started another one, and Fleet was the second one. And Fleet became so big very, very fast. Then everyone in Australia was looking at what we were doing. It was us and other couple of space startups. And then the government thought, oh, it could be interesting to have a space agency. And everyone was like, yeah, it could be very interesting. We call it the Australian Space Agency. And it was formed. Megan Clark became the head of it. And we decided for this space agency to be absolutely commercial. So driven by startups and solving real problem of Earth.
I heard you've launched like rockets with satellites as well. In one of the interviews I heard you say that they can last for 2 years, the shoebox size ones, the nano ones. And then in a 2 week ago one with JP Drake, you said it was a 5 year. So it's getting longer and longer, like it's extending.
Yeah. Space is changing and technologies are changing. So my satellites are tiny, are probably like this, okay? They are shoebox satellites. It's amazing. It's, satellites are usually very big, like a bus, like big as this room. But now technology again is smaller and smaller, like an iPhone. So you can launch little things. You still launch them in rockets. What's the biggest problem when you got very tiny electronic, like in the iPhone, is batteries. So satellites and electronics got the same problems. So batteries die. So when you launch a satellite in space, it goes around Earth. And batteries after 6 months, they can die. And then you make a better battery, and they can last 3 years. And then you can make a better battery, it can last a little bit longer. There's a guy in US called Elon Musk that is building Tesla and the cars and batteries. He's really doing a lot of innovation. He also builds rockets. SpaceX. So I've launched 4 satellites in space and some of them with him. And I'm gonna launch other 3 this year and all with him, because the guy builds good rockets, really good rockets. The rockets of Elon Musk, they go up and they come down. So you can send them again and come down. Okay, so it's actually pretty fascinating. When I was a child your age, I wanted to be a rocket scientist. I wanted to be in space. I had this dream. I really didn't know what it meant. I just thought that space was amazing. And I wanted to go to space. I wanted to be an astronaut. I didn't really know how this dream would have worked out in my life, so I just kept studying. I was a really good student, so I studied really, really, really hard. Then I went to university didn't know what to do. I did engineering. My brother suggested that would have been a good idea. And I kept studying and studying. It was really hard, but I had one focus: working in space was my dream. And here I am, still working in space, still the same dreams, but this time they're happening.
How long do you think it would take your rockets to launch a satellite?
Rockets are getting a little bit smaller. There are probably 3-4 people that are building really good rockets that are smaller around the world. One is in New Zealand. It's called Rocket Lab. Then there are 2 in US and SpaceX is one. Why are they building smaller rockets? Because they want to go to space faster. So usually there were 10 launches a year for rockets, like one every month. It's not enough. We need more. I need to launch 150 satellites. So I need like a bus that goes there every 2 weeks. So these people have built rockets that are smaller. They can come back to Earth. They can be reused. So we go faster to space. So we are getting to a point that I hope I can build the satellites in 2-3 months, launch it, and in 2 months, launch it, and sometimes I can launch 20 satellites at a time. It's fascinating what is happening. Uber is a way that you are somewhere, you want to go somewhere else, and you just click and say, I want to go there, and you go. I really hope space will become this way, that you order a rocket in an app, and then you put a satellite in it, and then it goes. And it's getting faster.
And when you say you want to make the rockets smaller to make them go faster, do you mean like you want to make a train smaller because it takes longer to get the whole thing somewhere, but when it's smaller, it's more compact and it can just go up quicker?
That's correct. So I went in NASA and I saw a very big rocket that is called Saturn V. It was very powerful. The problem is that if you have to fill up that rocket with satellites, to go to space, there's a lot of space that you need to fill up. So you're waiting. When I started Fleet and we launched the first 2 satellites, we have to wait 18 months to launch a satellite because the rocket was so big and it needed to fill up with so many things that we could not go. We're waiting and waiting. Then we went to this rocket in New Zealand that is smaller, so it's got less capacity. So less satellites can jump in it. And we decided, okay, we want to launch 2 satellites with this rocket. So we built the satellites, we launched them in 6 weeks. So it's very short, 6 weeks, eh?
Can you explain your place in the 4th Industrial Revolution?
I hope it's an important place, mine, because I'm trying to drive it. Do you know what the 4th Industrial Revolution is?
IoT?
Yeah, Internet of Things. Okay, so let me give you an example. I had my first computer and my first phone when I was more or less 13. Okay, it was quite fascinating. We had these phones, they were very big. You girls will look at them and thinking, what is that? Okay, and we were using our first computers, Computers has changed the world. So in the past 30 years, that was called the 3rd Industrial Revolution, okay? So internet came on board, and we had computers, and we had iPads and iPhones, and changed your life, my life, your mom's and dad's life, but also the way we work. Now you go to work, what do? You work in a computer. And you use all these apps. You listen to music, you watch movies, and everything is driven by internet and computers. That was the 3rd Industrial Revolution. And it was a way to connect people. I can talk to you, we got Facebook, social media, and software for work. Now, IoT, Internet of Things, is the next industrial revolution, okay? Industrial revolutions are fun, are something in which the world goes upside down for 10 years and something amazing change, and you're like, oh wow, like we got cars, oh wow, we got computers, you turn around and you're like, wow, the world is changing. Internet of Things is gonna change in the next 15 years, okay? Internet of Things means that every single thing will be on the internet. So it's not gonna be just you with your iPhone and your computer, but things around you will make decisions for you. That is actually really hard to imagine. So now I tell everyone, in the next 20 years, you probably have everything connected. You will have self-driving cars that can drive by themselves. So they need a lot of sensors and important information. You probably will not have an iPhone because you will have sensors doing things for you. You wake up in the morning and you will be like, Google me, well, Google Home or Alexa, can you prepare my coffee and prepare my shower? And can you tell me what's my meeting and when is it? And can you please organize me car drive? And it will be just, what's the weather like? And can you play Netflix? So it's gonna be also automated that you will not have a phone anymore, okay? And that's in the small world, the magic the IoT will do, but also in industry changes everything. So in the industries, like if you think about agriculture, farms and mining and all the biggest industry like trams and trains and rails, nowadays everything is disconnected. People put people in cars and they go and check, their assets and they come back. And imagine now that everyone operates from their living room. Like, oh, let me check how my cows are doing. Let me check how my farm is doing. Everything is finally connected. It's such a large scale, things moving and 3 trillion of devices moving that the only way to capture it is from space. Connectivity from space. So give an internet from everyone from the top. And that's what I'm doing. So I'm trying to position myself in the industrial revolution, giving the infrastructure, the internet that was never there. So a new internet. The world is really fast and you need to jump on it and make it happen. I think there is nothing though in our period of our lives more fulfilling than do something you really love. Spending time to help the world. If you can help the world a little bit to make a change, that's very exciting. In my world, I'm thinking if I can do something really big for the world, building internet, allow people to check the climate change, because imagine with sensors you can check rivers and water and snow and ice. I can help people to save water, like I have a big impact, okay? And I had to build a startup to do that. A startup is hard work, but it's fulfilling.
As you said, a startup goes quickly, you got to be quick, but IoT is really slow.
It is slow, okay, because it's an innovation. Every innovation takes a long time. So it's really weird because when you are an innovator, so someone that builds an innovation, you are ahead of time. So you're like, I see the future, I see what is gonna happen, I'm gonna build it, but no one really understands. You're like, oh, what are they doing? What is she doing? It makes no sense. But you got this big vision. And you're like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. And you do it step by step and people come with you slowly. So it's very slow for the first 5 to 10 years and no one understands it. And then if you hang in there, it just explodes and it's amazing. So if you think about Fleet, it's been 5 years now. And for the first 5 years, everyone really didn't understand. Now people are, oh, IoT, of course. IoT is great. We can automate everything. Now we are even talking with the space agency on going to the moon and Mars and do IoT on moon and IoT on Mars.
Quote, you need to start with kids. Space is inspiring. When did you become passionate about space and what ignited that passion in you?
I come from a family, we have 5 siblings and everyone is an engineer and has got like very high achievers. I was your age and I actually think my life had a purpose to work in space. Because I remember I was fascinated about movies about space. I really liked extraterrestrial movies like E.T. or all those movies. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna look for people and alien. This is what I'm gonna do. So the first thought was like, I'm gonna find the aliens. Then I was your age, like I was obsessed by aliens. And then at a certain point I thought, oh, I don't think aliens are that good. Maybe I just can be an astronaut. So it was a passion inside me. I always loved it. And I remember, going camping or in the mountains with my mom and dad and looking at the stars and thinking, this is amazing. And again, all my brothers and sisters and friends didn't really get this in the same path, but I felt like it was fascinating.
Do you think it is important to follow your dreams?
Yes, absolutely. You know what is interesting though, that not everyone, for me it was kind of very clear what my dream was. It's not always clear for everyone. Like what I've learned is that you need to be exposed to a lot of things. You need to try many things in your life. There can be sport, it can be, science, it can be dancing, music. Doesn't matter what it is, okay? One day you will try something and it will feel right. You will feel like, oh wow, I was born for this. I was born to make a difference in this. That point in time, you have to go for it and give it 100%. Because the more you do it, the more it will feel right. I'll tell you something about working. Working is hard work. You have to wake up every day and do all the stuff and you want to go on holidays, you can't. Yeah. When you do what you love, it's not a job. It's a passion. That every week I wake up and I'm like, I've got this. I love it. This is why I think is important. And I also think that every single person in this world for a reason.
When you qualified as a space engineer, how did your career unfold?
So what I did is, so when I finished high school, I wanted to work in space and I didn't know what to do. And one of my brothers said, you can do aerospace engineering. So I did a bachelor in aerospace engineering. I didn't like it. The first couple of years at university, I'm like studying physics, math, and chemistry. And I'm like, where is space? Space has gone missing in this aerospace engineering. But then it got a little bit better. And then I decided to do my master in space. So I did 2 years and I fell in love with rockets. So the rockets were really cool. All these engines and gas coming out and propellants. I thought, oh, this is good stuff. When I graduated, I went to, I'm Italian, so I was in Italy. I went to the Netherlands. There was the European Space Agency there. And I was very young. And I started working there for, a final-year project. And I'm in this amazing place where, every corridor is full of planets photos and amazing spacecraft and spaceship. And I'm just young and thinking, I'm very lucky. Then I found a job there in the Netherlands as well and started working on all space stuff. I thought I was the luckiest person ever.
It's beautiful when you can feel that you're very lucky about something because then you feel like you've achieved a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel that every year because it's not always that easy, I think my third year of university, I told my mom, I'm not gonna do this anymore. I'm tired and it's just so hard. And she was like, okay, just give up. It's fine. And I'm like, I'm not gonna give up. So I kept going. And even now that I've got a startup, it's not always easy. Some days I'm like, we will never make it, or like it's, you got all these employees and you think, am I gonna bring them to success? But yeah, that's part of the journey. Sometimes it's hard.
Where did your inspiration come from to become a space entrepreneur?
A space entrepreneur is something that I didn't expect because I was working in a corporate normal job. I had a normal job. I mean, not a normal job. I had a space job. It was very, very interesting. But then I met Steph. Okay, Steph was traveling in Europe and we fell in love and we moved to Australia. And I'm in Australia and thinking, what am I gonna do? I can find a job. But there were no space jobs. So I could teach at university. I could work in the mining industry. And I'm like, I don't want to work in the mining industry. I want to work in space. So I thought, okay, I'm going to build my own space startup. And I didn't even know what it was. Like, how do you do it? Like, how do you even start a company? I met my co-founder, Matt. And he's like, don't worry, I've done it before. I started a startup, let's do it. So we started. So I became a space entrepreneur because I love space. So I needed to do this jump. I didn't know what to do and how to do it, but I did it. We also raised money with VCs, that is called venture capitalists. So people with a lot of money that believed in our dream. And that's very rare in Australia to raise money for a tech space startup. So we raised money with some American investors, but we're still here.
What effects do you think the fourth industrial revolution will have on children's future jobs?
It's a good question. I actually think you guys' future is very exciting. Like, you are in the most amazing generation. The world is technologically changing, and you got more opportunity to make a change. Okay, I think the jobs will be different. IoT is trying to automate a lot of stuff. A lot of people are very scared. This has been a fear forever. Like, in the past 200 years, people are saying that robot will automate everything and steal our jobs, but that's not the case. All the jobs that IoT is automating are actually pretty hard to do. Now, if you think about industry like mining, people traveling up and down, it's pretty complex stuff. So if we manage to bring IoT in the world and remove a lot of complicated, inefficient jobs, people can start looking at data. Data is the new oil, as they say, okay? Looking at data, looking at being behind the scenes and start understanding how things operate. So if I look at your guys' future, there are two important things. The first one is a data-driven world. You need to understand data. And when I say data, I don't mean math or science. I mean data. Start understanding the world, start understanding how technology works. And the other one is entrepreneurship. You guys can do anything. In the next 15 years, you can build anything you want. The world now got the instruments for you at this age to launch a satellite. So imagine what you can do in 15 years. Entrepreneurship and data-driven jobs, I think, is going to be your future. I think you are an amazing generation. You're probably a generation that's going to go to Mars. This is very special. You're very lucky.
What advice would you offer to children who aspire becoming an entrepreneur?
Two advices. The first one is just do it, and don't be afraid to fail. There is one thing that you need to understand about entrepreneurship. It's a failure journey. You fail constantly, and that's fine, because the entrepreneurship journey is all about trying. You try, you fail, and it's sad, but then you go back and you try again. And every time you fail, you feel a little bit stronger, then you get a little bit closer. So one thing that I'm telling everyone, I try to teach my daughters as well, entrepreneurship is resilience, is being strong. And you guys live in a world where everyone tries to protect you for everything. They protect you always. They protect you at the playground, they protect you at school, they protect you at home. A very good entrepreneurship mind is a mind that can overcome a lot of obstacles and issues. So give it a try, and if you fail, break a leg, don't all the crazy things that can happen, just keep moving. I was telling you that this weekend we went surfing with my kids and other kids. There were big waves, and these kids are young, at your age, and they're there with a board, and after 1 hour, everyone is a little bit traumatized, like it's big waves and going upside down. That feels like being an entrepreneur. They give you a big board that you don't know how to handle. They shovel you in the sea with big waves coming to you without respect, and you have to try to stand up, and you fail, and you fail, and you hurt yourself, and you fail again, and then you made it, and you're like, oh my God, I've got this, and the day after, you fell again. But the prize is so big. The prize is so exciting, and the journey is so fulfilling that it's worth it. So if I could tell every kid that want to become an entrepreneur and make a change, is learn to fail and have a smile and keep trying.
How important have mentors been to you during your journey?
It's a good question, because I have to admit, all the people that really helped me in the journey are people very close to me. So I really, for me, my family is very, very important. So my brothers and sister, they're not mentor, but they really are. So their love, their presence, their affection, particularly one of my brother, we talk a lot about how things can go and, business. Mentorship is all about getting to know yourself. I'm very lucky because my business partner is a friend, and we really help each other. Mentorship is all about you, getting to know you. And it's something that people don't really understand. It's not about business. It's not about work. It's about you. So how can you push yourself? How can you be a better person for yourself? How can you be happy? Mentors are important to learn to take care of yourself. But you don't have to have an external mentor. Like my brother was my mentor. Now my business partner is my mentor. Like sometimes even my kids are my mentor because the way they live life it kind of make you remember what are the important things.
What is next for Flavia Tata Nardini?
I've been thinking about a lot in the past 6 months what made me happy in the coming 6 to 7 years. I'm very happy at the moment. I love my family and I love where I live. But what I really want to see is Fleet becoming a unicorn. Do you know what a unicorn is? Not the normal unicorn. For a space startup, a unicorn is when you build a $1 billion company. So a company that is valued $1 billion. So it's very rare, particularly in space. Just I think Elon Musk has got it, another few. It would be such an honor for the next 6 years to go through the journey of building one of the biggest space startup in the world. Because imagine how many things I have to learn. Imagine how many times I need to jump for the tree to make this happen. Imagine how many people I need to hire. How many satellites I need to launch. So I look forward to that growth in the next 6 years. And listen, my idea is always like you aim very, very high. So even if you don't reach that high, you reach pretty close. So I'm building a unicorn, a space unicorn.
Flavia, it has been fantastic speaking with you. You're an inspiration.
Thank you so much, Isabella. You are an inspiration to me.
I have a gift for you. Oh, there we go.
Oh my God. Okay, we ready? Did you do it?
Yes.
Oh, wow. You wanna tell me what this is?
This painting is called Worlds Collide, and the colliding part of the painting is these two going like that, and then that's the world.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's absolutely beautiful.